I'm on. We're on. Excellent. Good morning, mob. How's everyone? Okay, let's see if they show up. Maybe it just takes time. There's some lag. Let's give it some time. In the meantime, I will power my brain. Hello, Ted. Good morning. Paige. Hola. Good morning, Linda. I don't see it here, but it's coming up. I see it there. You see it there? Oh, maybe I need to refresh.
Yes,
Let me refresh.
That's how I clicked on it.
Oh, wow. Awesome. There it goes. Let me lower the volume. Okay, I can see the feed now. Good morning, Mary Beth. Good morning, Malcolm. Jasmine, good morning. Yeah, it was the dental work was serious. Good morning, Heather. I have the tooth somewhere over here. I'm not gonna gross everyone out, but I am gonna gross everyone out. I'm saving it to use it as a object lesson for the kids. Brush your teeth. So yeah. Let's see who else is here. Good morning, Tanya. Hello, Michelle. Welcome. And we are live, says Mr. Chris Mendoza. Everyone on YouTube, hello. Okay, so let's officially begin. Ready? So it's winter break. So we have our official opener here with us. Official opener.
Welcome to the Mock TV Coffee Clutch episode 66.
Thank you. Anything else?
Thank you.
Very nicely done, opener. That's our opener, Z, who will probably be doing this show later on. You know, she'll just take over. So I hope everyone's good. We missed a week because I had to have serious dental work last Friday, actually. Yeah, Z's a natural. Everyone likes you, Z. Where's Z? Did she leave? She does her opening and then she goes and has brunch. So yeah, I had to have dental work, and it was Friday. Yeah, it was Friday. There was no way I was going to be able to speak on Friday. If you saw the pic, it was like, no, we're just gonna move it over, Malcolm. So we're not clashing next week. We're gonna just skip a week. Hopefully this doesn't clash. I have to make sure it doesn't clash with anyone else, but it should be okay. Let's see who came in. Hello, Stacy. Good morning. And John came in. Hello, John. Welcome. It's good to have you all here. All right, let's do our usual announcements. Let's give a shout out to everyone on YouTube. Hello, YouTube people. And thank you for joining us. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit a like and share, and hit the little notification bell so you know whenever we come on. But thank you for being here, everyone on YouTube. We're on Instagram. I've been trying to be regular about posting on Instagram, so I think I did one post every single day this week. So, good morning, Wendy. How are you? So I'm trying to get a little bit more regular at Instagram. So come join us on Instagram. We're at Bitten Peaches on Instagram. So you'll find us there. You'll find little excerpts from the books, quotable comments, things like that, pictures sometimes. Depends on what the mood is that day. Wow, Paige, that is scary to hear. So, Paige is saying that her extraction went well, but my extraction went well, but they couldn't do hers because it might have broken her jaw. That's how deep the roots went in. I was this close to, I have a tool here somewhere. Yeah. So I was this close. This is how bad it was. It wasn't like pain, but it was just so annoying. to taking this, see these? And just going in there and pulling it out. Yeah, YouTube is acting a little funky. But then I saw some videos about what could happen. Yeah, YouTube, I'm seeing a lot of in and out. Then I saw some videos about what could happen if you pull your own tooth out and how it could break a root, get infected, dry socket, all the worst case scenarios. First I saw a video of a guy who did it successfully. He took a pair of vice grips, he put it around the tooth, locked that thing in, and just went like this. And pulled it out. And I was like, I can do that. If he can do that, I can do that. Then I saw another video of what could go wrong. And I didn't feel like spending any time in emergency oral care. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to call a professional and let him do it. And so that's what happened. So, but I was this close. I was this close to just going in there, because it was so loose. And I would move it. It was like a sugar tooth, like a milk tooth. You just take it. But then when my dentist pulled it out, I was like, yeah, that wasn't going to come out easily. Because I was moving just the crown. And then I saw the roots. And it was like, whoa. So yeah, no bueno. No bueno. So yeah, that's exactly, Michelle. That would be a bad idea. So I said, you know what? Let's just let the professionals handle it. Let's see. Yeah, I'm glad you liked them, Wendy. I'm trying to catch up with all the posts, guys. So yeah, John, I'm glad my face has returned to normal too. It was like, I felt like a chipmunk. Let's see. Jasmine sent Dolly a PM about the books. Awesome. Yeah, YouTube, it's kind of stuttering a bit. So hopefully, guys, let me know if it gets too bad. We could always restart it. Hello, Audrey. Welcome. Ooh, break off at the gum line. Yeah, that'll be horrible. I don't want to do that. So that's why I went to the dentist. He knew what he was doing. He went in. He put in 1, 2, 3 needles. He put 3 needles on one side, and then I didn't feel those. Those were like nothing. But then he went inside and put 1, 2, 3 needles. The inside needles, I felt those a bit. And then after a while, my face just felt like it inflated, and I didn't feel anything. And then he just went in and took it out. But yeah, I've heard that even dentists, professional dentists, could get it wrong. So I didn't want to take a chance and mess it up myself. So yeah, that's something I don't wish anyone tooth pain. This wasn't actual tooth pain. It was just more of an aggravation, but it was going to degenerate into tooth pain. So I figured, let's just get it out. Okay, let's see. How do we get the New York Public Library to get your books? That's a good question. They're really picky. Last time we tried that, remember we dropped off books, the Spiritual Warrior series? Dolly and I went to do that to our local library, and they were kind of snooty about it. I said, yeah, just drop them off there. And I don't know, we have to contact the actual librarian, the purchasing office, I think, something like that. We'll look into it. Right now I'm not, I like to get into the libraries, but it's scheduling something like that, because that takes a lot of legwork. So I'll let Dolly handle that, getting us into libraries, because she doesn't have anything else to do, like 3 kids, all their stuff, all their school stuff, all the Bitten pizza stuff. She's not that busy. She just needs to find 3 extra days in the week. So all right, so let's continue the shout out. So go to get some swag on M&S, right? We have swag. We have new swag. We have current swag. We have swag on our M&S store at ZAZZLE. So go there and get some swag. Guys, come on. Did you put up any bug swag? No? So Dolly is currently working on brainstorming some bug swag. So that's the latest project. You can put on some cool quotes Bug would say. Things like, I'll break your leg or something. Things like that. Something, warm and inviting, like, let me punch you in the face. Things like that. That's what Bug would say. Oh, we have a new patron. So on Patreon, shout out to W.S. Dawkins. W.S. Dawkins is the guy. I don't know if I ever showed you guys this, but this is he's the one that was responsible for for these things. I don't know if I can. It's so small, but this is Monty and Strong. Cool, huh? This is courtesy of W.S. Dawkins, who hand painted these. So Sammy hand painted this assignment. Check it out. I don't know, it's a little blurry, but check it out. That's Sammy, and that's Monty. And this thing is a blacklight paint. So if it glows under blacklight, it's awesome. So yeah, thank you, Sammy, for those fantastic. These are forged figures, so they look awesome. So if you need Monty and Strong forged figures, shout out to W. Sammy Dawkins, who is a artist when it comes to those things. Okay. So he's also our newest patron on Patreon. Our newsletter. We have a few things coming up soon, so we'll get a newsletter for next month, for March. And so just to keep everyone informed on the newsletter about what's happening, what's new, and what's coming up. So that'll be in March. BookBub. Don't forget to follow me on BookBub. Go there, sign up. And we have, I think there's like 400 people following us on BookBub, but let's see if we can get that number up. We have close to 1,500 in the mob. Obviously, not everyone who's in the mob interacts every day, but let's see if we can get the number at BookBub up, because it helps. Same thing with Binge Books. Join, add reviews. You know, if you go to Binge, it doesn't cost you anything. Just go there, join Binge Books. You join Binge Books, and then you could add your reviews. They don't need to be long. They could just be, hey, the book was great. Oh, hey, could have been better. Things like that. Doesn't need to be a long. Hero Forge. Yes, Hero Forge. Thank you, Stacy. So the name of the company that makes those figurines is called Hero Forge, if I'm not mistaken. I think Stacy found the right name. So there you go. All right, so how are you guys doing? Stormblood is in final edits. I should be getting it back, I want to say today, but my books are usually 50K, 55K. This one came in at 74K. So it might take maybe tomorrow, might be a little, I can't rush that part. So, Hero Forge has gift certificates. So there you go. I'm not that savvy on Hero Forge because I don't really get figurines. But those are part of the totems that I have on my writing desk. So my writing desk is covered in totems that mean things to me. So I'd have to take a picture because it's a bunch. But yeah. Oh yeah, see, Sammy says you can order them, and if you guys really want them, he can send you the link. So contact Sammy, PM Sammy, and he can send you the links. But if you want it painted, you're gonna have to go through Sammy because he did this masterfully, the paint job. So there you go. So you can order them, and then if you want them painted, you have to speak to Sammy about that. Well, Malcolm, that's not Bug. That's Monty and Strong. Bug is currently sitting at 24K. Let me see. Let me make sure. Yeah, 24K. That's where Bug is currently sitting. And it's supposed to be a 30K, a novella. I'm hedging my bets a bit. It's gonna be around 30K. I foresee it going a little bit past. Yeah. So. Oh, that's interesting, Paige. See, I didn't know that you could do that. That's really interesting, yeah. Bug is way too short, 24K. Oh, I thought you were talking about her stature. Like, she's too short. Actually, she's exactly the right height. So, yeah, Dolly said the same thing, Malcolm, that it didn't feel that long. Towards the last few chapters, I was writing them, and then I was giving them to Dolly because she always gets first read, right? And as I was writing them, I'd get drive-bys. Where's the next chapter? Are you done with the next chapter? I'm like, I'm writing it. It's like, okay, let me know when the next chapter's done. I was like, okay. But she also said that it was, and mind you, she's read it over as like kind of live. Because as I would write chapters, I'd send them to her. So, and she still said it was kind of short because I think it's the beginning. I'm trying not to spoil it for anyone who isn't in the art. Hello, D. Welcome. The beginning seems to be, so here's my thing. The beginning seems to be a lot of setup, but it really isn't. It's setting the foundation for a lot of things that are going to happen in the next few books. But once they get going, like I think once they get on their way to London, because they have to go to London, I think that's when the pace starts to pick up, and then it's like breakneck. It just starts racing. It's like thing after thing after thing after thing happens, and so I'm trying not to do a whole Master Yacht thing that I did with Simon, which was like 4 chapters of Simon getting beat up, but that needed to happen for that story. So it's just like that, you know. Yeah, I know it's been acting funky. The chat, the FB and YouTube, we have a lot of weird energy in our group, and it happens. So just please bear with it. It just acts really funky. The energy is all over the place, you know. Things we can't control. We moved away from the computer to the phone to kind of try to mitigate it, but even like that, sometimes. Also, the weather here is really, really crappy. We have rain and sleet, and I think that also plays a factor in this, you know. So bear with us. We are having technical difficulties. Please stand by with us, you know. So yeah, so Stormblood, I felt I was approaching 50K, and I was looking at 50K, and then I realized this story is not going to be done by 50K. So I didn't expect to go 24K past, but this is what happens. Oh, look, my towel. This is my sweat towel. Because my body runs hot, and these lights that are hitting my face are warm. So they feel like stage lights. And so that's how I get to look this young. It's all in the lighting. So if people think it's the genetics, it's really the lighting. All right, so Stormblood needed to be longer. Oh, I don't know if I could have made it long without it feeling too long. You know, like 74K, it didn't feel long to write because it flowed really well. But if I had made it longer than that, I planted a lot of seeds in Stormblood that I really don't want to get into because it would spoil things that are coming. But there are a lot of those of you who did the art know that there are a lot of seeds planted in Stormblood that you're going to see, like characters you're going to see, things that are going to happen. So I wanted to kind of leave those in there without it being a cliffhanger, you know. So I think it felt like it was the right length. It felt like it was the right length. What is Chris saying? Yeah, internet's finicky today. Yeah, the stuff in Europe. Listen, war is never a good idea. That's my stance on that. So there's a lot happening worldwide right now because of this Russia and Ukraine. Whatever your position is, my stance is. I mean, I respect whatever position you have, but my stance is war is never a good idea, and there's always going to be a loss of life. So, you know, Audrey's saying it's snowing here. 11. Whoa. Yeah, weather is probably an issue. These things happen, so we'll try to navigate the show through around the weather. Send us positive vibes so that the show gets smoother as the time progresses. Yeah, it's always bad. Look, war. I don't want to get into it because we don't touch these kind of topics because they're always polarizing. But war is never a good idea. Let's just leave it there. War is always bad. Leave it there. We've had enough experience. I have family that's military. I've had family that was military involved in, stuff. So let's just say war is a bad idea. 8 degrees. Yikes. That's cold. Yeah, I'll pass on all of that. We're not doing any of that war talk. No. Jasmine says, we always want more words, but Stormblood seemed... what happened was that Stormblood took over all the writing. And so I had to pause Sepia, which is, I think, 30-something, some odd K right now. And I had to pause Bug, even. Because Stormblood really needed all the mental energy and to be written, to be finished in the time that I needed to finish it in. Once that was done, now I can kind of wrap up Bug, and then I can jump back into Sepia. Ice and sleet in Dallas. That's something that I never thought I'd hear. Ice and sleet in Dallas, Texas. Wow. We have ice and sleet here, but it's February in New York. So that's different, Thank you, Stacy. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed writing it, and Dolly always remarks. She always laughs because as I read parts to her, or I read, I converse with her as if I've never read the book or if I haven't even written it, and so it's like you always do that. So, but it's fun. I can approach it as a reader, you know, and it was a fun story. All I can say, don't mess with witches. That's all I can say. Really, it's common to have sleet and ice. I'm not from Texas. What part of Texas gets the sleet and ice, Mark? That's interesting. I didn't realize that it can get that cold there. See, I think Texas, I always think like, you know, brutally hot, you know? So yeah, North Texas. Okay, that makes more sense, sure. It makes a lot more sense. But still, you know, the concept for me, when I hear Texas, I always think very, very hot. Welcome, Charles. I didn't see you come in. Wow, you have to shovel snow. Amazing. Wow. That's something else. That's incredible. If you're in Texas, I don't know if you're in Texas, Charles, but yeah.
Do you have a YouTube open during the show?
No, I do not. You should open it. No. There's an echo. I don't have anything else open, so it must be technical things on FB side.
Do you have BP playing YouTube?
No, everything's closed. It's amazing. Yeah. So let's see. West and South, yeah, and East Texas, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, yeah. Yeah, you know, anything technical that happens today that's a little off, we'll just say it's technical difficulties. It's odd. 112, 115 is what I imagine Texas to be, Michelle, for sure, yeah. Yeah, see, but we're getting like these constant freezes also, so it's stuff going on. So far it's good now. Yes, Gremlins for sure. So, the next book of Monty and Strong is Revenant. The cover, this is the cover I always say, this is the, let's see how I can say this without it being misinterpreted. This is the tarot card, yeah, I'll call it that. The tarot card Monty cover. And you'll see what I mean when you see this cover. But it's going to be interesting because what happens in Revenant is a result of what they did in Stormblood. So that's what's going to happen. You'll see the cover. I'll reveal it not anytime soon, but I'll reveal it, and then you can see why I call it that cover, the tarot card Monty cover. So yes, a Revenant. Are you calling Jasmine a Revenant, Stacy? So bad. So bad. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of freezes on this and in Facebook. So I am. Yeah, Glenn, you listen. There have been a few authors who asked me why do I release snippets, right? And one of the reasons I release snippets is because I think it's important for the readers to have something to look forward to. It also allows me to kind of to gauge feedback from the readers regarding the story. And also, it's fun to kind of let you guys, it's like a trailer for a movie. When you watch a really good trailer, you watch it over and over because you enjoy the characters that are being depicted in the trailer, or you already know the universe that it's set in, and the trailer is just awesome. So you kind of want to get a little bit of the movie before you actually get the entire movie, and that's what a good trailer does. A good trailer builds that kind of anticipation. So that's why I do the snippets the way I do. But I also, there are people like Ingrid who doesn't like to, or Helen, who don't like to read the snippets. There are a few of the mobsters who don't like snippets at all, or they'll wait for the entire book. And that's why I also make a lot of space in the snippets and put the picture so that it blocks it off. So if you don't want to read it, you don't have to. Oh, that too, Glenn. Yes, I psychically feed off the emotional reactions of my readers and drink their tears. That's the unspoken part of every writer. Every author does that. But I try to release the snippets regularly for that reason. Now, the fun snippets that I've been releasing are the bug snippets. Even though Monty and Simon, Monty and Strong is always fun. But the bug snippets, because I forget to realize how violent Bug has the potential to be until I start seeing the story as a whole. That in snippets, in these snapshots, I can't see how violent she is. She'll say something and it's like, wow, that's kind of like the wrong answer, but it's Bug, right? But when I start seeing the entire arc of her story, she's pretty violent. Companions are pretty violent, but Bug is probably the most violent of companions. So it's been interesting to see her journey through this story. It's feeling even more detective noirish than Bullet Ballet, because she's pursuing, I don't know if I told you guys what this story's about, but she's tracking down clues to locate someone. I think that's about all I can say without it being spoilerish, right? So she's like a noir detective that's violent and capable of great violence. So that's Bug. We really got to get some Bug shirts, or the way of Bug shirts. So Dolly's working on it right now. She's thinking about swag for Bug. If you have any swag ideas, PM Dolly. So let me share something that I got from recently. I was gonna have this, and then my tooth decided to say, no, you can't have this. But for those of you that like chocolate and coffee, I'm not sponsored by them, but it'd be nice to get sponsored by them. I ordered some of this. See if you guys can see this. I ordered this. So this is called dark chocolate bark. So dark chocolate is one of my favorite chocolates, kind of chocolate that I eat all the time. So this has sea salt and crushed coffee beans, but I haven't been able to have it because I'm recovering from my tooth situation. No, I'm not gonna have it live on the show. Next show I'll have some live, okay? And I know you guys have been asking for a reading, but I don't know if I'm gonna be doing readings, guys. Then we'll never get to the show. The show will have to be like an hour or 2 hours, 2 hours and a half. So we can't make the show that long. We'd have to make the show a reading. The entire show would have to be of the reading, or like 30 minutes of reading. I don't know. I don't think I have. Dolly says I do. I don't think I have such a great speaking voice for that kind of thing for a reading. If we could get Kevin to do it, that would be awesome. He could narrate a part of the book. Now, that would be cool. Vamp, Ghoul, Zom, Ghost. Yes, I don't think so. We can do reading separate for sure. Let's keep this as our space to hang out, have coffee, talk, spend time together. And then if we want to schedule a reading, we could do like a special thing, So keep the readings to do something different. I also wanted to kind of start doing our Wisdom Wednesdays. Every time I want to do it, something comes up, or I really just have to make the time. Kind of like how we did this. I just have to buckle down and say, okay, I'm going to start doing this, Because it's like, I got the writing, and I don't want to. Here's what happens to a lot of authors, and I've seen this happen firsthand. They get into the writing, and they're doing really well writing, and then they want to branch out into podcasting, and they want to branch out into something else and something else. And over time, what happens is that all their time is taken up. This is not even talking about if they have a family, right? But they get into all these other things, and pretty soon the writing falls to the side. And so what you want to do is focus on the writing first, and everything else becomes part of that. So I've seen it happen to a few authors where they get so spread out in so many things that the writing suffers. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather, stick to the writing and then do things like this, where it's us hanging out, and it doesn't need to have a structured format. It has a format, but it's not structured, right? All right, let's get on to the next thing. Speaking of structured format, let's get on to the next thing. So the next audiobook, for those of you that like to, listen to the books or read with your ears, the next audiobook, Divine Intervention, should be out in a week. We could always find out because Jeanette will let us know. She'll be like, oh, the next audiobook is out. But I know Jeanette is going, if she were here, she would ask. So the next audiobook will be out in a week, Divine Intervention. Stormblood, we're going to pause for a while because at this point, Kevin is narrating as I'm writing almost. So we're going to pause for about a month or two to give some space to Divine Intervention. We don't want to, put them so close together. And Stormblood will come out later this year. So there's no rush to it. Plus, it's a long book. So it's going to take him a long time to do that because it's so long. How long was Rule of the Council? 80K, right? All 3 books. It took him a while to do that one. So, yeah, I agree, Chris. We have an awesome format. It's kind of loose. We can have conversations. We discuss pretty much everything. Stacey says, what? You can't create a Van Ghoul Zomghost? It's not that I can't create it. I don't want to create a Van Ghoul Zomghost. Typing that up every single time, even if it's... I have to type... What is it? VGZG. Nobody's going to understand what that means. And then if I type Van Ghoul Zomghost, people are going to be like, what is that and why? So I'm going to pass on the Van Ghoul Zomghost. Just saying it is like, whoa. So yeah, it's going to be a hard pass from me on the VGZG. Maybe someone else could do that one. Maybe, some other author could do it. Okay, so... Like I said earlier, Stormblood will be... I'm hoping to get Stormblood back today, hopefully. But, it's a long book, so it might take time. You're using... Oh, that's how you punched yourself in the face, Chris? You was using a screwdriver? Ouch. Well, at least it was a screwdriver and not a hammer, The old hammer, and you're hammering something and your thumb gets hit, because that's pretty bad. Yeah. All right, so Stormblood will be done hopefully over the weekend. I'm hoping to get it today, and hopefully over the weekend we can get it finally edited, like the final edits, and I'm hoping live Monday, Tuesday, the latest. Ouch, Chris. Breaking teeth in any capacity is bad. I want to give a huge shout out to the art, who did an amazing job with Stormblood. It was I always try to put some of the comments that I get in the questions. Like there's a group of questions that they usually answer, and some of the answers to those questions, like, oh, John is here. So John was like, Simon, I could be Simon, And here's the thing about a comment like that. As an author, you're doing something right when people could say, I could be that character. It means that your character is really relatable. It means that your job as an author, as a writer, is to get your readers to suspend disbelief and to immerse themselves in your story. Welcome back, Malcolm. Hello, Paul. Welcome. So, when you're writing a story, you want your readers to not be reading, but to be experiencing the story. So when he answered one of the questions, he said, I could be Simon. And John said, I could be Simon. It was it was an interesting moment, because it's like, yeah, that's exactly what you're looking for as an author, as a writer, to have your readers experience the story in such a way that they're going through the story with the character, and at some point they are that character. That, sometimes you want to smack Simon upside the head because some of the things that he does or says, you're like, how could you do that? Or like when people don't like when Davina doesn't like Chi, or no one likes Jessica, because you want that polarizing effect, and when you get that, it means that you're doing something right. So, thanks, John, for that response. And I'll try to put up some questions once the book goes live, because I always do it after the book goes live. And a huge shout out to the art, because you guys, like I always say it, you guys take a good story and make it a great story. And you give of your time, and you give of your insight and your wisdom, your patience, with my comma aversion. Am I getting better with the commas? I never know. Sometimes I do now get comma removal. notes. Like, hey, take that comma out, as opposed to every time is you need a comma here, you need a comma here, you need a comma here. Now I'm getting no, that comma is not needed. So, yes, Stacy, I hope he is. I hope Simon is getting better. I mean, it would be a shame if he hasn't changed at all since Tombyards and Butterflies. They have to kind of grow and evolve, you know? You don't want them to be stagnant as characters. Is it wrong that you identify with Dex? No, Chris, it's not wrong. I think a lot of us identify with Dex, for sure. What are quotation marks? Never heard of those things, Stacey. Are you making things up now? See? You guys change the rules constantly. Or in Paige's case, semicolons, because Paige is the semicolon master. So I know when Paige comes in, it's like semicolon here, semicolon there, semicolon there, semicolon there. It's all over the place. So I was worse this time out with quotation marks. I don't know. I think here's the thing with the writing. Sometimes I'm going so fast in the story. It's not just quotation marks that get left by the wayside. I'll miss entire words like a or the, or because I'm just writing so quickly. My fingers can't keep up with my brain, and so these things happen. Yes, Paige, you are definitely the semicolon queen. It's amazing because I know a lot of your notes are put a semicolon there. No, put one here, put one there. Yeah, and spaces too. Sometimes, Stacy, the spaces are because of Kindle's weird formatting. Like Laura tells me this all the time. Laura Tallman says, yeah, it's weird. It's wrapping around funny. But a lot of times it's because I add spaces. Yes, Dolly, M dashes as well. So basically most of the grammatical stuff that are in there. So yeah, the spacing is sometimes I'm going so fast that I'll hit double space. I'll space as I'm writing. And I don't even realize it until I read it again. And this happens. Yeah, Heather, we all have our weird kind of tics when we write. And so sometimes you'll miss a key. You'll miss one letter when you write, and you have to go back and make sure that because you won't see it. You'll see it as you read it, but it won't be there because your brain will just fill it in. So M dashes, ellipses, there's a whole bunch of things. Semicolons, sometimes apostrophes. There's a bunch of stuff that I know I don't put it in, but or either I don't put it in or I use it too much. Like the M dashes, I know I overdo them sometimes. I put it in constantly on both sides. I put it in there like, yeah, this looks good, you know. Listen, I'm still learning. That just goes to show you, I've been at this now for over a decade. I'm still learning. So it's important to realize that as an author, you will, if you're not learning, something's wrong. So you're always learning, always. So, but a good ellipse it kind of creates the right tension, kind of creates that pause, you know? These things happen. But yeah, I'm completely understanding of the fact that I have a long way to go and I'm still learning. And so that's the way it is. Exactly, Chris. We are all still learning. Quad eclipse, jeez. No, I'm not gonna do something like that. That just even looks funny when you read it. A quad eclipse, a quad ellipse. Sorry, not a quad eclipse. And this is why I have editors and an art team. Yeah, I think that's the. I agree with you, John. The M dashes, the N dashes. It has a lot to do with the authorial voice, as they call it. You know, it's the style of the writer, the way the writer writes. So sometimes you'll see some authors who use it constantly, who use these things constantly. Then you'll see some who very rarely ever use it. I try to be Jasmine. Jasmine says, I'm one of the most appreciative authors of ever finding. I try to be, yeah, because I realize that I'm not perfect. I'm in awe every time a book is done. When I go back to read the notes, like for Stormblood, there were almost 1,000 notes. And out of the, let's say 980, maybe 979 were valid. And so, like, there are very few repeats of one person noting what someone else already noted. It's very rare because everyone's kind of, it's interesting because there'll be a note on one passage, pointing out one thing, and then I'll get another note on the same passage pointing out something completely different. So everyone sees different things when they read, you know? And so it's important to have a good art team that's willing to shred, that's not afraid to shred, and it's not walking on eggshells, that's willing to say, this is wrong, or you missed this, and that you have an author who's okay with that. Because there's some authors who probably are like, don't tell me what to do, I'm the author, you know? And so it's both sides. The art team has to be frank enough to say, you need this, you need to fix this, this, and this. And the author has to be open enough to say, yes, I need help to fix. You have to know yourself and know where you may have a weakness. So my weakness is definitely these notations like commas and all that stuff. Because in my head, the story's just flowing. So who needs a period? Who needs commas? Who needs and that? No, just write the story. I realize that you do need periods, you need commas, you need em dashes, you need ellipses, you need all this stuff. But my writing style is just writing it really fast. So that's what happens. Yeah, I don't know, Stacy. I don't know many authors who get hurt, get hurt feelings or hold grudges. But it's not the right way to be in terms of something like that, because you should be appreciative of someone trying to help you turn your story, make your story better, you know? Yeah, basically, Chris, my stories are one long run-on sentence in my head that I know needs pauses. Yeah. Yeah, Sammy, it's true. I know a lot of authors who are starting, a lot of authors who want to start, like who are aspiring. And the first thing I tell them is that you need rhino skin. You need tough skin, because you're going to get rejections. You're going to get reviews that are not too positive. You're going to get criticized. If you have an art team, if you get your feelings hurt easily, you're going to have a hard time reading notes about your work from an art team, because the whole purpose of the art team is to help you make the story better. So if you have thin skin, that's going to be a problem, you know? So, yeah, Malcolm, I'll create the story. You guys, I'm just going to go, and you guys create the grammar. I'm going to just stick to poetry from now on. Just write haikus. It makes life a lot easier. I have to worry about comma. Oh, yeah, Helen. Terry was like, Sir Terry but he's Sir Terry Pratchett, so he could kind of do whatever he wanted to do when he wrote. So, but he never had proper chapters. Not only did he not have proper chapters, he had footnotes all over the place. I can only imagine the nightmare it was to edit his books with all those footnotes. And I loved the footnotes because they were always hilarious or in some way, So it's like that. But in this profession, in this craft, if you have a thin skin, you have to kind of reevaluate if this is something you really want to do, because you have to be able to take, as I say, you have to be able to roll with the punches. You really do. And it's going to come from places that you may not even expect, and you have to be okay with that, because you're putting yourself out there, right? You're saying, here's my work. It's out there for the world to see, and everyone's opinion is everyone's opinion. It doesn't reflect on you personally as an author. It reflects on the work, but even then, that's an opinion. So it's not necessarily a truth. It's just that person's perception of your work. And everyone's going to have a different one. So you have to be okay with that, Yeah, I can't imagine arcing anything of Tolkien. I mean, he created a language for his books. Could you imagine? Oh, no, that's wrong. Excuse me? I created the language. What do you mean it's wrong? So how do you edit that? And he had an editor, but it was like, I can't even imagine that, And like Chris says, don't ask the question if you don't want to hear the answer. And an author submitting a book to an art or an arc is a huge question. It's like, what do you guys think? And can we make this better? That's the question that you're asking. Can you read this and improve on it? Or can you read this and tell me what may be missing so that it looks more polished? So, and it's the same thing when you give a book to an editor. And if you can't handle what an art does, forget about an editor. An editor like, you think shredding in art is bad? An editor just slashes through the book. And so you can change this, change this, rearrange this, fix this. Do you really need this? You should get rid of that. It's like, and then it's not worried about your feelings, because the whole purpose of an edit or an art team is the story. Are you telling the best story you can tell? You know? Right, yeah, Stacey, I understand, yes. And ending a story with a preposition. I try not to do that in explanation or exposition, but in speech, people do end statements with prepositions, so I'll do it, you know. Yeah, Michelle, I used to, so this is a shout out to John and Ben and everyone at ReaderLinks now / the Author Helper Suite, because I do everything through Author Helper, which used to be ReaderLinks, but they changed their name, and I was able to create an art team within that program, and that program makes, and having an art team, a beta team, whatever you want to call it in that sense, it saves you so much time. So if you're an author and you don't have the Author Helper Suite, or ReaderLinks as it used to be known, you should really get it, because it saves you time, and it makes editing and notes and all of that stuff so much easier. It's incredible. And I can't imagine doing it without tech, because like Michelle's saying, the whole way editing is done, and sometimes even now, you get a hard copy and you line edit. You get a ruler and you go line by line as you go through the story. That's like, oh. Let's see, Jasmine. Also, if you keep getting the same comments against your work, right? So a lot of authors say don't read the reviews because, you know, it's everyone's opinion. But if you start getting the same reviews over and over and over again, you have to take a step back and say, okay, a lot of people are saying the same thing. Maybe I should look at this. Maybe I should look at this thing that they're discussing, because it might mean that you need to step back and look at that and address that issue. You know. How many words do I lose in an edit? I don't lose many words in an edit. I usually end up adding words, and adding commas and adding apostrophes. But I usually end up adding words, so it's not a lot, because Stormblood, when I sent it to the art, was about 73.5K, and it came back 74K. So about 500. I added about 500 words overall. But, you know, there's a lot of removing and there's a lot of revising. Even as I'm writing it, like Doggy said, even as I'm writing it, I'm editing and revising. So what I'll do, part of the process is, let's say I write 2 chapters today. Tomorrow, before I start writing the continuation, I'll go back and read the previous chapter. And then what I do is I call it fleshing it out. I'll flesh out that chapter. I'll add some stuff. Maybe I'll remove some stuff. But most of the time I'm adding, because as I'm writing, my brain is working overtime and thinking about, oh, you need to add this to this, and you need to add this part. Oh, and you explain this because you retcon it and put it back in 3 chapters back where this person mentions it. Now you can. So there's a lot of it. It's not linear. It goes back and forth. It's a lot of leapfrogging back and forth, and so I'm always revising, editing. I've said this a lot. A book is never done. A book is just, the author just decides this is where I'm going to end it and then send it out into the world. But a book is never really complete, because you give any author a book that they enjoy, like, you know, a story that they enjoy, and they can always add more to it or fix it or tweak it or something. So books are never really done. Sammy says beta sharpen, edits, polish, and arc stab people. Yeah, at least my arc does. Yeah. My arc is like, I should rename it the Bug Shredder Group, because most of the art is like from the way of the bug. So huge bug fans for sure. All right, so let's because we have like 20 minutes. All right, let me promote our books. So we have 2 books to promote, 2 sets to promote. So we have the South. All right, so this is one author that I've known since he started writing. So this is Noah. He's part of our group. He's one of us in one of the mob. So Noah Studevant. I never really get to pronounce Noah's last name. So Noah has a box set, the Southeast Asia Paranormal Police Department complete box set. Wow, that's a mouthful. But it's the Southeast Asia Paranormal Police, the PPD. So we had a group of us that wrote in the PPD, right? And Noah wrote in Southeast Asia. So we all had different regions of the world to write in. I wrote in the Badlands. Noah wrote Southeast Asia. Ben wrote in New York. Eric wrote in Seattle. And John wrote in Las Vegas. So, and I wrote in the Badlands, which is like, you know, near hell. So Noah's releasing a box set, Southeast Asia. Can you find it, baby, on Amazon? So Southeast Asia Paranormal Police Department box set. It's a complete box set, the whole set. I don't know what the cost is. Probably something really affordable for that many books. It's a lot of books. So please make Dolly's gonna put the link up, and it's a fantastic series. All these books are written together with John Logsdon because they're all co-authored. So you can imagine the humor's off the wall, and Noah has a crazy sense of humor and a very interesting way of seeing the world. So it's funny, it's naughty. I think Noah is the one that has Bert, and Bert is a great character. So do yourself a favor, if you haven't picked up the Southeast Asia PPD, go grab it. Okay, it's really fun. It's funny. If John and Noah involved, it's hilarious. Okay, so go get the Southeast Asia Paranormal Police Department complete box set. It's on Amazon now. And our next box set that we're setting, so it's box set day today, which is a great. You guys get great deals. The Chaos Mages series by Stephanie Fox, Alex Steele. Well, there are a couple, you know. So these guys are amazing people and great authors. And Stephanie has another few series that she writes. And this is Alex. I think Alex has written this one. So the Chaos Mages series books 1 through 3 are in a box set. So get that too, because these guys are great, and we try to help authors in terms of, you know, get the stories out there, get visibility on their stories, and if you do this, it helps them be able to write more, which is what you want, because if the story's good, you want more of their stories, right? So Chaos Mages series, which is a really good series from what I've heard. I haven't read this one, but I hear it's very good, and it comes from my sources who, you know, oh yeah, Foxy Steele. So my sources who have similar tastes in reading, like in the books that I read, and they tell me the Chaos Mages are really good. So go get it, and let's support our indie authors, you know, because that's what we do as the mob. When I tell authors I'm gonna put your book up in the mob, they don't think that, you know, and I tell them, don't worry, the mob mobilizes. I mean, there's a reason why the word mobilize has mob in the beginning, right? So the mob mobilizes, it moves and it goes, and they come back and they're very surprised, and they say, wow, I can't believe, the sales shot up, or a lot of people were telling me about the book. Yeah, the mob really moves, because we're all readers and we love to read, and we're all looking out for our indie authors. And so when we do the L3, Larry's literary list, the authors usually come back and send me a PM and say, thank you so much, it really got the word out, or I really saw a difference in sales for that day, and things like that. So it's not me, it's the mob. You guys are awesome, and I've always said that you guys are incredible. Like every time I release a book, and Dolly always says, why are you surprised? Because each time I release a book, it hits #1, and I realize it's not me, it's the mob doing that. Because inside, I can release it this morning, and by the afternoon, if that far, it's already #1. It already has an orange sticker. And yes, it took a lot of years to get here, but once the mob gets involved, and shout out to the entire mob, once the mob gets involved, it's like, wow, it's like wildfire. It just immediately, it gets bestseller, #1 new release. It's incredible. And each time I'm surprised, because I don't take it for granted. I had many years where I wasn't a #1. I was barely known. So each time it happens, I am, genuinely surprised and awed by how amazing all of you are. So, and then I text her, or I'll send her a message. I'll PM her and say, oh, look, it hit #1. And she gives me this look like, really? You're surprised? Like, yeah, I'm genuinely surprised. So make sure you get the Chaos Mages series, and make sure you get the Southeast Asia PPD complete box set. Let's help them get those sets up to #1. So let's see. You guys have been writing. So let's see. Geez. Same author, Team Chaos Mages has another. Yeah, Misfit Alpha. Yes, that's another one, Glenn, for sure. That's Stephanie and Alex also. I met them at 20 Books 50K. Great couple. Great people. That was before the pandemic, before COVID. Lynn says I discovered the PPD in November. Read the whole lot back to back. Yeah. Wow. Also, that's how I picked up on M&S. Read the 14 back to back. It's a lot of reading, Lynn. I love finding new to me authors. People are surprised when I tell them, oh, I've written 15 books in the Monty and Strong series. They go, wow, that's a lot of books. It doesn't seem like it until I see like a graphic with all the titles. Like, oh wow, that is a lot of books, you know. Stacy, yes, new series in 3 days, hopefully. Let's cross those fingers, okay? Michelle says, I think we all cross over in other groups, so we are just like a huge... Yeah, and I think that's the key. See, because all the authors, at least in the circles that I'm in, all the authors kind of know each other. And so I actively try to promote all the authors. Even authors that I don't know, but I enjoy their books. Like, I don't know Benedict Jacta that well. We've spoken, we've messaged each other, but I don't know him that well. But I really enjoyed his Alex Verus series, which ended with 12 books. So I promote him. I say, hey guys, read this Alex Verus series. It's really good. Same thing with like Eric Asher. Eric Asher, I know, and we speak every so often, but I try to make sure that people get this Vestic series, which is really good. So we are like a huge book networking group. It's a lot of fun, Michelle, to be that way. And we try to reach out to other authors, like Rick Gualtieri's a huge friend of the show, and he's in the mob as well. John Logsdon obviously is in the mob. All the PPD authors are in the mob, and always, I always try to promote their work. So I try to make it a point to promote the work of other authors, especially indie authors. Rami Vance is in there. Nasri Noor also. So it's amazing. Shane is in there too. Yeah. So it's like that. We try to help each other out for sure. We reach out to like Chris is saying, we reach out to the authors before the show and ask them if they have anything that they want to promote, because we want to help them. That's it. It's we're giving back, basically. That's all it is. And also, it helps you guys find new authors, which is great, because I've always said it. No one author can satisfy all the readers, because there's just too many readers. You don't have enough time in a day to keep up with all the readers that exist just in urban fantasy. I'm not even talking about other genres, just in urban fantasy. Well, if I could get Stephen Colbert as a friend to become a friend of the show, I'll definitely do that. Have him come on. He can do a little monologue at the beginning, things like that. That'd be awesome to have him as a friend of the show. Oh yeah, John Corwin. Again, I don't know him personally, but he made this great ad where he mentioned, he kind of gave a shout out to Monty and Strong, which was fantastic. And so that's kind of, I guess, a perk of being an independent author, that you can connect with other authors very easily. And it's great to do it that way, All right, so let's get to the questions, because we have questions, right? I'm going to step away from the feed, even though I can still see it, but it goes fast. You guys write a lot, so I can't always pick up on the feed. So we're going to the questions. First set of questions by Audrey. Orlando, who would you consider to be your evil twin? I am my evil twin. That's how I can write such bad characters. Because I saw this great shirt that I'm thinking of getting. That says, I have an angel, a devil, and a madman inside. That kind of sums it up. Yeah. So yeah. Janine, will I do crossovers with any of these authors? I did a collaboration with John, and that made me lose my hair, see? And that's about it. I'm not doing crossovers. Crossovers are tough. I did a crossover with... Prior to the collaboration, I had done a crossover with John Logsdon, where in his book, his characters were in London, and in my book, my characters were in London. And they only crossed paths. And that was about a week to 2 weeks of back and forth with John, just to make it work and feel seamless. Crossovers are a lot of work. Pass. No. It's just too much work, really. And same thing with co-authors. Even if I was James Patterson, no. I'll do the writing myself. If I can't do the writing, then it won't get written. Okay, let's continue. At least for now. I mean, I have no intention of letting someone else co-author in the world, because no one's gonna write your characters the way you would write them. That's just me. All right, Orlando. What are common traps for aspiring writers? Lack of patience. Expecting your first book to take off and you can retire from that. Not learning the craft well enough to be able to write a good story. So those are some of the traps. Quitting the day job before you're ready to do so. Things like that. Those are some common traps. Not investing in your book. A lot of aspiring writers see their books as their babies. Oh, this is my baby. I can't. No. Your book. If you're gonna personify the book, if you're gonna give it make it an employee. Get out there and do some work. Work for the business or a product. See it as a product. Because once it leaves you and goes out into the world, yes, it's a story and you want it to impact and touch people. But there's a business side to this writing. And it has to, if it's not selling, you have to find out why. So you have to be able to wear both the hats, the business side and the writer side. So those are common traps for the writers, not learning the business side. Writing is the fun part. Then there's a whole part of marketing. There's a part of business. There's a part of everything that goes into the writing, especially if you're doing independent publishing. So yeah, the other thing about one of the biggest traps for aspiring writers, and I don't want to take too long on this one question, but it's a great question, is never being finished. Like, oh, I gotta polish it a little more. Oh no, I gotta polish it a little more. Oh, it's not right. Perfection is the enemy of, what is it? What is perfection the enemy of? Perfection is the enemy of something. How's that? No, but they're aspiring writers, writers who are brand new, never want to let the book go. And so doing that locks you into, I've known authors who have one book for 5, 6, 7, 10 years. Let it go. Get it, make it good. Good enough to go out into the world. And then start the next one. Because perfection doesn't exist, right? So make it as great as possible. And then let it go. Okay? All right. Dolly, Audrey asks, what is your hidden talent? Boom, boom, boom. Yes, John. Perfection is the enemy of completion. What?
I'm good at DIY, fixing things, using a hammer, screwdriver, power tools.
You guys hear that? You gotta say it louder. She's good at DIY, using tools. She's really handy. She really is.
Yeah,
she's really handy. Build stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff around the house that she's built. It's amazing. So yeah, she's very good at DIY stuff. The youngest Valkyrie's kind of taking after that. She also juggles 3 kids and a home and logistics and extracurriculars and a demanding husband. And it's a lot of stuff. So she's really good at logistics and planning. She's excellent at that too. And she sees ahead and schedules things. So she's a lot of hidden talents that are not so hidden. All right. Jeanette, do we have an Audible date yet? Thank you, Audrey, for your questions. Jeanette, do we have the Audible date for Divine Intervention? I know we mentioned it earlier. About a week from now, it should be coming out. It should be, should be out there live in the world. So yes. Malcolm asks, do you have an outline? Did you have an outline for No God is Safe before writing 2 Yards and Butterflies? No. What happened was I wrote 2 Yards and Butterflies, and everyone kept asking, how did Monty and Simon meet? How did Monty and Simon meet? So I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to write how Monty and Simon met. So I don't recall where in the series I went back. If you check the posting dates on Amazon, it could tell you exactly when I published No God is Safe. And then you can kind of fit that where it falls within the series. But I wrote 2 Yards and Butterflies, and I think Full Moon Howl, and maybe even Blood is Thicker, and then I went back and wrote No God is Safe. So I didn't have the outline. I had an idea, but I didn't have an outline. So, Malcolm, why do we never see your pupper? Because she likes to, she lives in the hallway in her crate. She has a enormous crate that she never likes to leave because it's her space, her little den, and she likes being there. She roams the house. When I'm not here, she roams the house, and Dolly, I can hear Dolly saying, "Inside your crate, what are you doing?" So, because she's white, she's a white boxer, and she sheds, and we have white hair everywhere. If I were to show you how much Dolly swept up every day, you'd be shocked, because it's like tufts of hair. It's amazing. So yeah. Chris asks, writing or teaching, which do you enjoy the most? Wow. I think writing is a combination of both writing and teaching. If you do it with that mind, with that mindset that when you write, you're also teaching. But I would have to say it's kind of tied between the two. I enjoy both. And a lot of what we do in the mob is teaching and talking about writing. But when I write, I don't try to pontificate. I don't try to, preach in the writing. But I try to put ideas out there that we can understand and maybe learn from. In a fictional world, in a fun way. But even at the core, there's a lot of truths in there, especially things that Simon goes through or things that Monty says. So there you go. Someone else is typing a comment. Oh, I guess not. Is that you typing a comment? Oh, okay. I need to refresh. Let me refresh. I'm going to be fresh. So yeah, I try. I never think I'm qualified enough to teach. That's the thing. Especially not writing. I've only been writing for this year will be 10 years. I've been independently published, written. Let's see. Malcolm, speaking of co-authors not writing as you would, Anne McCaffrey's son writing Pern now. Haven't read any. I think in a situation like that, Malcolm, if anyone could do it, it would be her son. I think the same thing is happening with Anne Rice and her son writing in the same world. Anne Rice, who passed away not too long ago, her son is continuing the vampire stories. I think in something like that, it's viable because they've been close to the author. But like Rihanna Pratchett doesn't write any Terry Pratchett because her dad is just... I would find it hard for another author to come and try to duplicate what Terry Pratchett did. So Terry is just so unique. Brandon Sanderson was chosen to finish The Wheel of Time because Robert Jordan died and he was chosen to finish it, right? That's a little different than co-authoring. That's continuing the story. But my opinion is that it's never going to be the same as if the author wrote it. Because you're made up of life experience, and the way I might see something, someone else is not going to see it. And the way I bring those experiences and ideas to a book, it's going to be my own unique way. This is why I always tell authors, don't worry about people stealing your ideas. No one's going to steal your idea because no one can write the story that only you can write. And aspiring authors or beginning authors always have this worry that I can't let anyone know what my idea is because someone's going to steal it. No, you're not. First of all, newsflash, you're not that original that you're going to write something that no one's ever read or thought of before in the history of writing. That's the first thing. Second, no one can write the story that only you can write because there's only one you. And so if you have an idea that you want to express, that you want to write it. Just do it. But like Malcolm says, yeah, so Terry wanted no more. I think he had all the remaining unfinished work destroyed upon his death because he didn't want anyone else to write. And Rihanna, she respected his wishes and destroyed it. So there it goes. Yeah, you can give 10 different authors 10 different writing prompts, or the same writing prompt. Give 10 authors the same writing prompt, and you'd get 10 different stories. Even if they were all the same characters. Use the same characters. This is the writing prompt. Write a story. You'd get 10 different stories. That's just the way it is. Yeah, she's going to honor her dad's wishes. I mean, Rihanna was already involved in this world and Terry's work while he was alive. She didn't come along afterwards. She was there, since he was writing for a while. I think since she was old enough because she grew up in that environment. Could you imagine? All right, guys. I want to thank you all for the questions because the questions are fantastic. Thank you all who submitted questions. We're going to have our next show the 11th of March. Wow, we're already in March. This year's flying by. We're already a little bit over time. It's 12:41, and we usually go to 12:40. So I'm going to have my closer come in because she's already kind of hovering nearby. And she's going to close out the show. I want to wish you guys all a wonderful weekend. Please stay safe. Listen, I know things are calming down with the pandemic. And, everyone's kind of stepping away from the masks. But do whatever you can to stay safe. If you need to get your shots, please get them. If you need to get boosted, get boosted. And I don't want you guys getting sick, period. You or your families to get sick. So, without further ado, John, you're coming in just at the end. Sorry, John. But thank you for coming and being here. My closer is here for episode 66.
Bye.
That's it? Bye? What a closing. Bye. Thank you for being here for episode 66.
Thank you for being here.
For episode what?
Episode 66.
And have a good what?
Have a good weekend. And I made these earrings.
Oh, and so our closer is also an entrepreneur. She has an Etsy store, and she makes...
I don't have an Etsy store.
No, not yet?
No.
Well, she's thinking about having an Etsy store.
No.
And she makes earrings and stuff. She's going to be an entrepreneur and independent businesswoman when she gets older. No, not even when she gets older. Now. So, thank you, closer. Official mouth closer. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. I hope you guys stay healthy. And our next Mob TV is the 11th, but I'm always in the room. So if there's something you wanted to say, thank you for coming by, John Peterson. And John, if you want to ask something, you want to say something, you can always PM me. Swag, PM Dolly for what you want to see in the swag store, or for autographed books, she's the person to see. And guys, as always, have a great weekend and be uncommon. Bye.